fact, I'm a local musician, business advisor that sells real estate.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Invest Iowa. Today I have Fernando with me, and today we're going to talk about how to grow a real estate empire, how to be a musician at the same time, and how to get into leasing for restaurants and specific niches of the Latino market that it's slowly starting to grow, especially in the commercial industry. But thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you having here.
Thank you, Sebastian. Uh, I love your podcast.
I'm so happy to hear that. How do we get started?
We got started in 2021. I came to play soccer at a small college in Mason City, Iowa, and then rapidly transferred to Iowa State University. Got my degree in economics, and then I got a master's degree, and then I moved to the construction industry, the commercial industrial construction industry at Master Builders of Iowa. And then after that, actually that company, it's the Trade Association for Commercial Builders, and that was my Harvard school. I would call it that was my ultimate training for business.
How come? Why?
Imagine being part of the staff that serves over 2,000 construction companies. So you have a membership-based association, trade association, local trade association for all the industrial, commercial builders. And all the builders get together. They get together, they become a strong force and political force, economic force, and they get together to organize committees, and those committees make decisions. They put together programs, and one of the programs that they put together was the multicultural workforce development program that they hired me to lead. And that program was focused on providing multicultural training to the trainers in the industry and to get ready for an influx of multicultural workers coming to Iowa.
I see. And how does that then relate to you becoming a real estate agent? How does that go on the trends?
To be honest, when I was working for the master builders, I never thought I was going to become a realtor.
Why not?
I I was supposed to become a college professor. I was a few credits short from getting my PhD, and I I always thought I was going to be a college professor. Was writing, publishing articles, even articles that were reflecting my work at Master Builders, and more about labor economics, more about education in the industry, more about safety in the construction industry. So that was my niche back then, 15 years ago. Is I was a speaker in around the country, from coast to coast. I was doing speaking engagements on how to get ready for the Latino workforce in the United States, especially in construction. So that was my specialty, and I was actually very short from getting a PhD in education.
That's a lot.
I know. So I didn't think I was going to follow the footsteps of my parents, who are both entrepreneurs. I didn't know I was going to leave the academia at any time. It wasn't until I was asked by Warren Morrow and Max Cardenas to start writing business plans for the Women Business Center and for the targeted small business, that they hired me. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse. They were paying me $80 an hour back then to write business plans, and they knew I was a writer, and that I had the foundations to write business plans. So I started meeting with women business owners that wanted to apply for loans, that wanted to expand their empires. And at that time, um, as a future professor type of person that needed a little extra income, I think I was the perfect guy to do it. And then um, I didn't realize it. The next thing I was doing is stepping away from being in academia. I actually found a passion that I didn't know I had in as a business advisor, and that's what I've been ever since. I'm a business advisor that happens to be a local musician and also a local realtor.
So this might be a dumb question, but what
Yeah.
exactly do you mean by like business advising? Like, in what way do you advise them? And
You know,
what type of businesses, by the way?
yeah, so it all depends. They're big businesses. It could be a well-known Mexican restaurant in town that already has 2, 3, 4 locations, but then they want to own instead of lease, or they want to negotiate. They want to buy their current building where they're leasing, or they want to rebrand, or they want to bring in new investors for a new venture, or where maybe or have a new restaurant with a new brand. Um, Basically, what I do is I engage in conversations. I take a lot of notes. I ask a lot of questions, and what ends up happening is that I provide my input on what I think should be their best route, their most effective, efficient route for their objectives. So every client has a different objective. So there's other ones that are, let's say, I'm going to give you an example. There's a baker has been working for a bakery 20 years, and finally they want to put all their savings into their own bakery. They don't have a logo, they don't have a name, they don't have a strategic plan, they don't have projections, they don't have a script on what the concept or what the values are for the company. So what I do is I sit with them, and in those meetings I get them out of them because I don't have the answers. All my clients have their answers inside them. And what I do is I get the answers from them, put them in paper, edit after edit until it sounds like a song. Once it sounds like music, then they're ready for the bank, or they're ready for investors, then they're ready for the market. Yeah.
What do you see are the most common flaws that people that are when another question before that, when we're talking about you advising businesses, are we talking about entrepreneurial businesses, or are we talking about businesses that are already established in one way or another?
Correct. I have both kind of businesses, and honestly, I don't have a preference. Um, I have businesses that are going to be launched, startups they call them, um, and those are the minority of my clients. The majority of my clients already have a business.
So for those businesses, what's a common trade?
For startups,
Yeah.
common trade. There is many people that want to start a food truck. There is many ones that want to start their own construction crew. I call them crew because that's what you need to start a construction business. And there is there is I get mostly construction and service industry, cleaning, a lot of cleaning companies.
And from those, do you follow the trends on like eventually which ones become successful and which ones don't, and what are the differences? Can you tell from the moment that you're making the business plan that a business might not have a grasp or a solid foundation, and then they're not gonna go somewhere?
Let me tell you, since time is limited, I definitely have a first meeting with them, and on the first meeting, I realized I usually become a client right away. If you want to start a cleaning company and you want me to be your advisor, the first thing I do is ask you to clean my office or clean my house. If you're starting a restaurant, and the first thing I do is I order food for the office, or I order food for one of my events from you. And if your food tastes great and your cleaning is amazing, then I will call you. You
Yeah.
don't have to call me back.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
will call you because I'll be like, okay, I need to make sure I make time for this talent. And and so I would consider myself two things: is a business advisor and a talent recruiter. And I haven't gotten in the business of getting in business with my clients. I haven't done that. People are like, why don't you go in business with your clients? I don't think I have to.
Yeah.
I think if someday I'm gonna need their help, I think they'll help me.
Yeah.
But I don't think I have to. I I feel pride when I see success in my clients, and I also taught at the Youth Build program at DMAC. It's a program that help youth at risk of going to jail to keep them away from jail,
Yeah.
or if they went, to keep them away and making sure they don't go back. So it's a carpentry program. It's a national federal grant that DMAC has, and for 10 years I was one of the instructors. And my joke is every time I see one of the grads in that program, each of them is making more money than I make. So it's like, oh my god, all my students, definitely that's the perfect example on how the people I advise, or my students, they always, they beat the trainer. How do you call that? The master. They
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
The disciple defeats the master.
yeah, exactly. So that feels great. That feels great. It definitely shows a lot of, it shows how much, not selfish I was raised to be,
Yeah.
but also, it also shows how much commitment I have for, development,
Yeah.
for the development of the community, for the development of businesses and small businesses. Honestly, that's what it is. Is helping the small business succeed is what my specialty is.
And from development of businesses, now let's talk about your businesses, right? How
Yeah.
do you develop those businesses?
My businesses,
Yeah.
yeah. I wish I could go to get my business advisor to get it out of me. In my case, it's deadlines. You know, if I have an event, if I have a meeting, I know I just have to step aside from helping others, and I need to help myself get it done professionally. So, um, the biggest challenge of being a business advisor is making the time and commitment to work on your own business. And my main business is called Inmobiliaria, and Inmobiliaria is the product of putting together all my skills, all my wife's skills, which are vast. She's a financial guru. She is a person that started as a cashier in her mother's grocery store at age 12, small town Iowa, New Hampton. And as soon as she could, she was a cashier for a credit union, moved up to loan officer, moved up to mortgage lender, was in her way to becoming a commercial lender when the COVID hit, and we decided that was the time to help all the small businesses apply for all the grants. And she had to make a jump and become self-employed like me, to help me help more businesses. And ever since, together, she handling all the financial and accounting side of the business, we focused on providing all the services that any business can need for growing, from accounting, from negotiations, from making sure that taxes make sense for their next move. So each business has their objective. Some businesses want to stay stable, steady for a few years, or other businesses want to buy commercial real estate next year. And if they want to do that, we need to be aggressive with their tax planning, with their accounting, also making sure that we put more attention to their real estate needs when they need it. So So it's a all-inclusive business. Where the name comes from, inmobiliaria, it's literally the translation of real estate in Spanish. And people are like, okay, so basically, if you have a bakery, that will be panaderia. Um, if you have a bank, that will be a banco. But inmobiliaria is literal real estate, and we are probably bringing that brand, especially in our clientele that is mostly immigrant, just to let them know that the final goal is to create wealth, and to create wealth, you need to acquire real estate. And even though we provide all the services that will get you there, the final goal is for our clients to own versus rent.
Mm, I see
Yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah. So how do you see, especially with the Latino community, is that mostly your clientele? You're telling me that you're working with a lot of, immigrants. Um, Tell me about them. Is there a lack of knowledge in that community? Is there, like, do you see it growing? Where is it going?
Mm, I can tell you that the best part about working with mostly Latino immigrants, first generation Iowans, is their passion for their work ethic, and their skill. They are highly skilled workers, highly skilled tradespeople, and that provides the perfect grounds for growth. What they come to us is for all the subjects that need a computer. Really,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, they need a computer. You're talking about Excel spreadsheets, accounting programs, accounting help, permits. You know that government permits, most of them you have to go online. Most of them don't have a translation in the Spanish language or any other language. So if you need a food permit, if you need a TOT plate to drive your trailer for your construction business, if you need a liquor license for an event, or whatever it is that your business needs, we're there for you. Especially if it is buying land or needing extra space to store your construction equipment, or if you need to expand to your next restaurant, or if you need to buy more housing for your employees, or if you want to get to 100 rental properties. Whatever your business requires, we're there for you. And of course, we're equipped with a team of six licensed realtors, and then we have six accountants, and then we have two people only focused on business services, which is all the licenses, all the miscellaneous, I would call, and we do financial planning and different things as well.
So it's a very complex and complete service that you guys offer.
Yes, and of course we have partners, um, 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 like Nomad Studio. um, when we have clients, they come in, and what we don't want is for them to be driving around town. Once they get to our office and they say, "Hey, we also need this other service. We need a logo, or we need a social media campaign, or we need a loan, or we need insurance," we grab the information and we send them to our partners to make sure that we are all in the loop, in the same communication. Because since our clients trust that we handle their business plan, that we help them drive the growth that they need, we want to make sure that whoever is providing their insurance, whoever is providing their loan, whoever is providing their social media campaign is basically bringing the quality that we are expecting from our own services, and then that we expect that all of our clients have.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
How long have you been a broker for?
I did I did pass my broker's test, but I met on time before I became a broker, before I became independent. I through Heath Moulton with Destiny Homes, I learned about EXP Realty. So I, after learning everything about this brokerage, um, I learned that I didn't have to be a broker to become 100% commission. So once I learned the model with the experience, they said, why would I become a broker when I can focus on clients, focus on sales, focus on customer service, instead of being the computer trying to do checks and balances on earnest money and communication with the government, communication with the commission, when I can focus solely on being a real estate agent, developing new agents. So even though it feels like I'm a broker, um,
You're not one.
I am not a
You're not?
broker. No, I'm an agent.
That's crazy. But you earn like a broker.
I earn like a broker. I earn like a broker. It's really easy to become 100% commission in my brokerage, and you cap fast, and then not only that, but one of the main reasons, two other main reasons why I joined my brokerage, EXP Realty, is because I'm also an owner of the company. I have a stake. For every transaction I do, I get shares in the stock market, but also they allow me to brand myself. They allow me to bring my culture out, and the way we're branding ourselves specifically for the residential market is Inmobiliaria Homes Broker at EXP Realty.
I feel this is a deeper question. So, from your experience, what is it so special about EXP Realty that other brokers don't offer? So, like, what makes EXP Realty stand out?
EXP Realty stands out in the sense that it's agent centric. It focuses on the agent being part of the game. I don't know of any other brokerage that I could own the company. You could own a franchise. You have to open a franchise and pay a franchise fee. But what you could, by owning actually a piece of the pie, is the only company that has allowed me to be that to log in and check how much of the company I own, and at any time if I want to sell it, I could. Not something that I'm planning to do anytime soon, especially when I see my stake in the company grow after every transaction. But that's it feels great to know that after my last commission is not the last time I'm gonna get paid for being a realtor. The way I see EXP Realty is that it gives us at least 5 ways to earn income. That's aside from your commission, and it relates to recruiting. It relates to your stock shares. It relates to fees that usually go to the broker. Those fees are kept by the agent, and that's a whole podcast on its
Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
On its own. But definitely, if you want to learn more about EXP Realty, give me a call. I will be. One other thing is flexibility. Is if I go to Puerto Rico often, I love it, and I haven't had a chance to actually do recruiting there, but I do want to put an office there. I think that they are in need of more services like the ones that we offer, and it will be so easy. It will be just showing up, convincing one of the local realtors to join EXP, and at that moment, you put a billboard up, you put an ad on IG, and the next is history. You are directly connected to that agent. That agent as puts you as a sponsor, and because you sponsor them, I have not only ethical ethical desire to make sure that person is successful, but I also have a financial stake on that success. So
I don't think if you open uh, an office in Puerto Rico, I don't think you'll end up working.
hey,
I
if
don't think you would.
I can listen to Despacito and work at the same time.
What about commercial real estate? What are you working on? I remember we talked about leases and restaurant space. Let's dig into that. I'm excited.
Yeah, I yes, it was 2019 when I jumped on my first lease, commercial lease with El Pollo Catracho, and that transaction um, taught me a lot of things. The first thing that taught me is that I knew nothing about commercial real estate. So rapidly, I started partnering with local commercial brokers. Specifically, the one that mentored me the most is John Garvey with Proximity. He, aside of being a business partner, friend, he definitely has been my mentor. Um, and of course, I learned from every transaction. But just to give you a little bit of the result of that partnership and learning in the last 24 months, I have secured 21 commercial leases for restaurants only. So it's pretty insane how much the restaurant industry is growing. If you see a Burger King closing, most likely there's going to be a Mexican restaurant there next month.
I'd imagine, and that's gonna come from you.
Pretty much.
So why are you so good with leasing? Like, what's so special about leasing that you got like on the books that you know how to do?
Well, the thing is, it's not easy to go to think about so many variables. You have to think about your grease trap. You need to think about your hood. You need to think about your remodel. You need to think about your permits. Every town and city is different. If you do so much remodeling, that means that you may have to put a new grease trap, even if you have one. You have to check with each county, each city, what are the requirements in terms of remodeling. Um, you have to think about your plumbing, HVAC, your bathrooms. You have to make sure that the capacity of the restaurant matches the sizes of your bathrooms. Also, that the capacity of your restaurant matches the size of your parking. You have to think about all those things because
Wow.
before your client signs that lease, you have to make sure that your client is going to be able to open on time, that your contractors are all lined up with all the quotes ready to go, because most likely you're going to have to rebrand, remodel the space, and that you will be able to that the budget is there if there is need for a new grease trap. If there is a deal where the landlord pays for some of it, sometimes there is tenant improvements money. Those have to come in, trickle in. So the contractor comes in, and let's say that the landlord agrees to paying for the grease trap. Yes, but the landlord is not going to give you all the money at once. You have to bring in invoices. That takes some time. But that time also is time that we're not selling fajitas, that we're not selling burritos. So you have to keep that all in consideration. And my clients come to me, yes, I'm a realtor, but they mostly come to me as a business advisor. So I do more than just helping you negotiate the lease. I want to make sure that those fajitas and those burritos start hitting the market on time.
Right.
And so that's extra pressure for me, but that's pressure that I'm used to and I'm willing to take. That's like you would say, like I say in Spanish with the Señor de los Cielos, is that tú tranquilo, yo nervioso.
You relax. I'll be the nervous one.
Yeah.
I think that will make
Yeah,
sense.
no, you chill. I take
I take care of it.
care of it.
But so for restaurants, how does it work? Like, is this a triple net leasing? Is it like who pays for utilities? How do you have those conversations with the owners, and how do you do the negotiation process with them?
Most commercial leases already publicize, already tell you what the type of lease is. Most of the time, you either have three options. You have the triple net lease, which basically means that the tenant will pay rent plus taxes plus insurance plus common area maintenance plus upgrades or app plus maintenance of the property and and utilities
Everything almost.
basically. So most restaurants are triple net. That's unless there is a small town. Small town restaurants sometimes are gross. What gross leases are is that the landlord has incorporated the share of the taxes, the share of the insurance, the share of the common area maintenance into a lump sum payment for the rent. That those are beautiful. Those are great because it's an agreement where the landlord is more proactive in making sure that the taxes are paid, making sure that the grass is cut, that the building is in great shape, and if the air conditioning goes out, that it gets repaired on time. Even sometimes there is some restaurants or landlords that are willing to help with taking care of the walk-in cooler, walk-in freezer. Those are other things that we didn't talk about before. Um, but um, but then in Des Moines, mostly you're gonna see triple net, and then there is one in between. There is gross modified lease. Gross modified lease is when it's not black and white. Is when there is an agreement between the landlord and the tenant to split some of the cost. Maybe the insurance is paid by the landlord, but the taxes by the tenant, or vice versa. Or it's all up to negotiation. But for the right tenant, there is always a right negotiation, because there is some tenants that every landlord would like to have.
Yeah.
There is some restaurants in town. I mean, just to give you some numbers, who wouldn't want to be the landlord of El Barco? Who wouldn't want to be a landlord of El Fogón? As those are local restaurants that everybody and their mom knows that if they come to your facility or your strip mall, the chances of success are high. So um, that's nice when you have the record that you can show that a tenant has the numbers, is wanted by the bank, is wanted by the landlord. So therefore, we have a little more room for negotiation. There is other restaurants that that are starting, but have the financial backing, but maybe not the history behind to back them up. And many times it could be that it's two chefs and two waiters that have been in the industry for 20 years that have the money, but they don't have a restaurant to show this is what we can do. That they're startups.
Yeah.
There's room for them too. It's just that in the negotiation table, sometimes there is not much room. Also, another thing about signing leases is your personal guarantee. The personal guarantee is a very important piece of your contract. It determines what will happen in case you fail to fulfill the contract. Let's say the contract is a 3-year contract. That's a short contract for restaurants, but let's say it's a 3-year, but on year 2 you decide to stop serving food, either because you ran out of workers, you couldn't find enough workers, or because you ran out of clients. Most of the reason restaurants are closing today are not because they ran out of clients. Most of the reason restaurants, steakhouses and Burger Kings are closing is because they don't have enough workers.
Wow. How come?
They, I mean, they're gonna come. They're gonna come from Florida, but we don't have enough workers. we don't have enough people that are willing to get it done, to show up on time, and work hard. And many of the restaurants, if you drive around, they are already starting at 13, 14, $15 an hour, which is crazy for the food industry, but that's the kind of shortage of qualified workers that we have these days. So it's not a matter of lack of clients most of the time. It's mostly a matter of lack of workers, and that's one thing that the Mexican restaurant industry has, is you have your cousin, you have your niece, your nephew, and they grew up watching you wash dishes. They grew up watching you prep food. They grew up watching you do big quinceañeras, making food for 400 people, 600 people. So it's you grew up in an environment of working, working, working in the kitchen, and then when it comes time to go to high school, you are already a hostess, and then all of a sudden you become a waiter, bartender, and then you get the opportunity to run your own restaurant. So it's that is the reason why Mexican restaurants, aside from the food being delicious, I'm originally from Ecuador, and let me tell you, even when I'm in Ecuador, I miss my Mexican food. So aside from Mexican cuisine being top world class cuisine, um, the fact that the nucleus of the family and also Christianity and being Catholic, growing up Catholic, you have a lot of cousins, siblings. Having enough people to work your restaurant also helps with the survival and the growth of those businesses.
That is a good explanation to why I will guess restaurants are closing now. But what's so special about Mexican restaurants? Why do you think we're every time seeing more Mexican restaurants?
It all started in Atlanta.
Wow.
Hanging out with so many Mexican restaurant owners, and most of them being my friends and being my mentors, business mentors. These are people of the ground, humble, hardworking business owners. I have learned that the queso and the chimichangas and everything that we know now as Tex-Mex, it's actually not from Texas. It's actually was invented in Atlanta, Georgia. And there's a few names of pioneers of how they changed the traditional taco, street taco, the traditional burrito, the traditional authentic Mexican food into what we know now as the big Tex-Mex menu with the combinations and all those things. I've heard so many names. There's like 10 pioneers out there that started in Georgia and moved their way into the Midwest. But one of them is Chapulina, Capulina, and there is all these different last names, Magay, all these different last names of people that eventually became owners of franchises, of chain of Mexican restaurants, because of the formula. Really, the queso is the what changed the game.
Really?
Yeah, when we now go and like we want a queso, that is what changed the whole game. Because if you put queso on anything, it's just going to make it Tex-Mex, right? And sometimes we joke that the queso is the conquest of the country.
Of the country.
Yes, and it is. It's la venganza de Moctezuma. They say in the underworld, and so yes, if you go to California, you will be surprised. It won't be as easy to find a Tex-Mex restaurant, because since the movement of the Tex-Mex menu goes from the east to the west, when you go to California, most of what you're going to find is traditional, authentic Mexican food. And that's changing, of course. Now you have a wave coming from Arizona, con los Abelardos, los Gilbertos. Those are a specific kind of menu, mostly drive-throughs. The Maria's also goes in the same school of the Arizona type of Mexican food. But it's really specialized. Of course, you have the taco trucks. The taco trucks do serve authentic um, Mexican food, and many of them actually have the same characteristics as if you would go to Mexico City and go to any corner where they're selling food. That's kind of like alambres they call it. Um, um, Also, talking about, we have locally, we have Degollado.
Mm.
Degollado is a place in Jalisco, really close from where the actual tacos are created, and also really close to the town of Tequila, where actually tequila is from. So we in Des Moines, Iowa, we I think we have uh, the most variety of Mexican foods per capita in the world. We're really lucky in Des Moines because even amongst the group of taco trucks and Tex-Mex or traditional taquerias, I would say we have it all. We have it all in Des Moines, and it's very competitive. But in Des Moines, everything is competitive, so it's perfect.
So I have a lot of questions with regards to that, cause and I hope you're able to answer them quickly, so I don't forget all of them.
Yeah.
But so you told me that now restaurants are slowly starting. You see some restaurants not working because the lack of workers.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that going in the future?
Well, with the current interest rates,
And we haven't talked about the trading cap, right?
yeah,
For restaurants.
no, yeah, correct. But what I can tell you is that currently investors are waiting. They are not investing heavily in with the current inflation and with the current interest rate, the cost of money. So what I see happening is that we I don't believe we're going to have a big downturn. By the way, at least in Iowa, if we do have one, it's going to be um, medium to a low kind of downturn. Mostly because we're supported by the agricultural economy and a little bit also by the insurance economy. So I'd say whatever downturn the country experience, we're going to just have a little bit of that feel in our state. Having said that, there is not a rush for investors to inject into the economy currently. So that is going to cause for a little more influx of workers, and that's what actually we need. What Iowa needs is good workers, and that is what we're going to benefit from. There's going to be a little more unemployment in on the coast, either the east or the west, and or the south also, and we are going to see an influx of new people coming to central Iowa and help us with the shortage of workers we have. We do have a shortage of workers, not only in central Iowa, everywhere in Iowa. The farmers need more workers. Um, Manufacturing needs more workers. We're all hiring.
In general,
In general, we're all
I see,
hiring.
I see the signs all over the place.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're all hiring, and wages are good. We do have inflation, but still the cost of living in central Iowa or in Iowa in general or the Midwest is still affordable compared to the rest of the world. So if I wasn't in the Midwest, I will be thinking about moving to the Midwest.
And now, just to wrap it up, where do you see your business in general, real estate, going in the next 5 years?
One thing that I have made a commitment to, especially the realtors that have chosen me as their guide and mentor, is that I am going to, yes, I need to handle all my commercial clients because they come to me as the business advisor. But for the residential side of the business, I am going to focus on developing their their skills. I'm gonna focus on helping the younger or the newer agents develop their business. So I will become their business advisor instead of being just a person that responds issues when they come, or just being the person that recruited them and is there for any questions, or serve the role that would be served by a specific broker, and give them a little training or a little intake to the industry. I will be more focused in the next 3 years on developing the talent that is with me, that has chosen me as their mentor, but also recruiting new talent.
Hmm.
That will be so. My next phase in my real estate business is just focusing on the people, on the team, and my team is unique in the sense that um, every realtor has their own independent career, and it's not that they are under a traditional team under me and I have to take part of their commission. No, but because of the things I do in the community, I we do have leads, and what I need to do is to share them and nurture those leads with the agents that have chosen me as their leader. So that is my next phase, is focusing on their development, on becoming their business advisor.
And where do you see yourself now? I was gonna say that, but I think this will be a perfect time to ask this question. Why should people contact you, and for why, especially if they're trying to open a business, or like they have questions about like when's the right time to contact you?
Um, my name is Fernando, and I'm the realtor cowboy.
The realtor. Mic drop.
Yeah, they should contact me because I have a genuine desire to see small businesses grow. I have a genuine desire to see Iowa uh, maintain their status as the best state in the United States, and then also to continue to break records, especially in the small business arena. People should contact me because I have a genuine desire um, to grow with my clients. Our slogan is developing projects, we share the knowledge. And what that really means is desarrollando proyectos, compartimos el conocimiento. Is that we don't know it all. But I tell you one thing, if you trust us in developing your projects, that that honor that you give us is enough for us to jump and be your partner, and to make sure that whatever knowledge that we have, we implement, and what we don't know, that we learn together on how to do it. So we that's basically our philosophy, is is that knowledge is power, and we'll share the power if we have it. If we don't, we'll learn together.